All right, so we head to New England, and we got the Raiders and the Patriots. Um, Obviously, with this game right here, we see the Patriots are favored by 2.5 points, 43 points on the board. So one of the mid-tier game here, a little bit lower scoring side here. Not a lot of points, but we kind of know this is going to be two new teams. Two new coaches at least here on the scene. We got Pete Carroll and we got Mike Vrabel coaching for the New England Patriots. Obviously, new offensive coordinators as well. With Chip Kelly for the Raiders, and then we have Josh McDaniels over there for the Patriots. So, new quarterback with Geno Smith for the Las Vegas Raiders. And, this New England defense has been tough overall. It's one thing they've always had is a tough defense. Kind of a neutral matchup, obviously, with the offense not being as good. And now we get a little bit more defense, the lower scoring games. They're going to do better against the quarterback wide receiver position. But when it comes to Geno Smith, I mean, he's going to be one of the lower level options. You're not really starting Geno unless you're desperate in a super flex league. Now, the receiving core is also a big concern because we don't know if Jacoby Myers is going to play. He is holding out the number one receiver from this team last year. He's been with the team all offseason and then decided a week before the season that he was going to hold out. So Jacoby Myers, we don't know if he's going to play or not, if this is, if he wants to trade or if he's going to hold out, if he's going to play or not. Remains to be seen, but if he's on the field, you got to treat him as a wide receiver 4-ish type, like a safe wide receiver 4. Who knows if he's the scrambler or not, or if he's going to command the rock. But I would treat him a little bit more in this. Christian Gonzalez there on the other side is going to be a tough draw for him. So Jacoby Myers, if he does play, is going to be on the wide receiver 4 realm for me. There's also new Raider, Amari Cooper, former Raider. He's back with the Raiders now and gives his team another viable wide receiver too. In other words, talks about Deontay Thornton, Jack Bech, who the team drafted in the second round, to kind of play to play in that role. But Amari Cooper is going to step in and I don't know that he gets back to where he was 2 years ago when he was with the Browns and playing as like a high-end wide receiver 3, back-end wide receiver 2. But I don't think he's as bad as where he's going right now, and you can get him for free. You can pick him up in a lot of leagues. So I think Amari Cooper is worth the bench stash to see how things go with Jacoby Myers, if he's playing, if he's holding out, if he gets traded, or if not, even how he looks as a wide receiver 2 for this team, there might be some opportunity for Amari Cooper. And then Deontay Thornton was another popular name that was getting picked up, caught a little bit of steam because he's an athletic freak. Team got him later on in the draft, but with Jacoby Myers, Amari Cooper, Brock Bowers, and then the fact that this is probably going to be a run-heavy offense, I kind of stay away from Deontay Thornton. Has a little bit of appeal maybe later on down the line once we figure out his role, or if Myers was out, maybe he would have some flex appeal at some point. I'd wait 100%, even if I was in like a 14, 16-team league, just see what the role looks like for him. And then Ashton Jeanty, a rookie running back, was prolific at Boise State, stepping into a feature back role for the Raiders, going up against a New England defense that was soft against running backs last year, allowed the 10th most points to the position last year. Some changes for the Patriots, obviously schematically with Mike Vrabel in there, but Ashton Jeanty should see enough work here to be, RB1-ish where you drafted him. Now, the team also does have Raheem Mostert. We didn't get to really a chance to see him this preseason, so I'm curious to see what Raheem Mostert looks like in this backfield and what his usage is. Are they using him close to the goal line? Are they using him in the passing game? Do they give Jeanty two drives and they give Mostert a drive? Very intrigued to see what Raheem Mostert, because a lot of people are just going to write him off. Like he's not part of the offense, but he's signed there for a reason early in the offseason. I think Raheem Mostert, I don't want to go as far as saying like he has any kind of appeal, but I do want to see what his role is in this offense, or if it's just Ashton Jeanty on the field for 85% of the snaps. And then obviously, if you have Brock Bowers, you are going with him locked in, tight end 1 option. Now, I don't know if he's the Brock Bowers that we saw last year, 1,100 yards, force-fed target-wise. But if he is, then I'm going to completely miss on him because I had Brock Bowers tiered down a little bit low. So curious to see what the targets look like for Brock Bowers in this game against the New England Patriots. And we got Drake May for the Patriots side of the football. Drake May stepping into a nice situation, obviously, where the team trusts him, paired up with Josh McDaniels. So we should see a lot better Drake May than we saw last year, who was a top 12-ish type play on a weekly basis, just due to his rushing upside. And I think he has that same upside. The matchup kind of screams going to be a little bit lower scoring, but Drake May could shock people as like a high-end QB2, even in this matchup, just depending on what this receiving core looks like. So a lot to be determined. Is he going to use his legs more? Josh McDaniels kind of hinted at some design runs, which we could see. And he was a little up and down this preseason, probably because he doesn't have all of his guys. As far as the receivers go, there's a lot of receivers here on this Patriots team, and it could be a mixed bag. Stephon Diggs is the highest profile name out of all the receivers, and he's expected to give it a go. According to Vrabel, he's expected to give it a go. But if Diggs looks anything like he did, even with the Texans last year before the injury, he should slot in as a very nice upside wide receiver 3 with a nice floor as well. I don't know that we see that. We might see some limitations on him coming back from the injury. They might ramp him up over the first few weeks. So temper your expectations with Stephon Diggs. If it's great out the gate, then congratulations, you won. But I do think if you can afford yourself the chance to start somebody else ahead of Stephon Diggs, feel free to do so. Pop Douglas, Demario Douglas has been the name that's been kind of exciting in camp. He's been the lead target guy, which is expected. We consistently see him around the 6 to 8 target range. And we know that Josh McDaniels will feature his slot guy. And Pop Douglas is a good name if you're looking for like a floor-based flex in your 12-14 team leagues. He's a good floor-based. I don't know which kind of upside, how much upside he has, but he's definitely going to be, a lock for 4 to 6 catches. As far as other receiver on this team, Kayshon Boutte is the other nominal starter right now. We'll see how that works. Kyle Williams was the second-round pick. Some upside. A lot of people like him. So Mac Hollins was a signing this offseason. He is there as well. A lot of options in this receiving game for the Patriots. So I'm not concerned about really who that next guy is going to be, but I will be interested to see the rotation, especially for some reason if Stephon Diggs either doesn't play or he's super limited with his reps. As far as the ground game goes, this is a neutral matchup across the board defensively for the Patriots. So a lot of neutral matchups on the other side. But Ramondre Stevenson was dealing with some injuries this offseason, kind of nicked up here and there. He's a nominal starter for the Patriots right now, but the leash probably isn't there, and he won't be able to fumble the ball like he has in previous years and still maintain his role. My gut, and this is probably a contrarian, unpopular opinion, especially for those who drafted Travion Henderson in the 3rd and 4th rounds. My gut is that we see a little bit more committee here than we want. We see Ramondre being used, probably early downs. We see Antonio Gibson in on like passing downs. We see Travion Henderson being used in kind of a mixture of both, especially because he's noted as like a really strong pass protector in college. I think this might be a little bit of a committee until one of these guys takes over. The one we all think, Travion Henderson, it could happen. We just don't know when. So I would temper your expectations for Henderson. I would treat him as more of a running back 3 this week, of flex with upside, than like a strong running back 2 where you might have drafted him. And then as far as Ramondre Stevenson, I would treat him as an RB3 for now, a touchdown or bust RB3 flex. I'd rather start Stevenson right now, man. I would rather start Stevenson. I just think he has more of a guaranteed workload. Henderson just has way more upside. So if you're chasing upside this week, feel free to go with Henderson. And then Hunter Henry will continue to be a touchdown or bust, tight end 2. Good matchup for him on paper. This was a plus matchup last year for the Raiders. So obviously things have changed year over year. This is a different scheme they're putting together for the Raiders as well. But the matchup last year was a plus matchup for tight ends. So Hunter Henry, still a touchdown or bust, tight end 2.